Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, April 11th. It is 6:22 right now. We've got market opening up in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Set down. Looks like we are good to go here. So as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. $8, and to the 4 hour. A ton of liquidity up top. I mean, this liquidity is gonna sit up here until it gets knocked out. So until you get some like positive news that really spikes prices to the upside, I mean, pretty much all this liquidity is gonna be hanging out up here. 30-minute time frame. $15-minute time frame. 10-minute time frame. And back down to the 1 minute here. All right, looks like we are good to go. So good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, April 11th. It is 6:26 right now. We have market opening up in about 4 minutes. So our market liquidity over here, closest level of liquidity above is at 39,900, and the closest level of liquidity below is at 39,562. So those are the two closest levels of liquidity over here. Currently, the ATR is currently sitting at 47. So this is it's pretty much how it was yesterday. I believe we had news from this morning as well. We had PPI news over here. It was all negative, just like the CPI news prior. So the PPI news here at 5:30. I'll mark that up. And then we have high impact news event at 7 o'clock, which is Michigan consumer sentiment. So I'll mark up the news at 5:30, and then we have more news over here at 7 o'clock. Here is the news at 5:30. It's a big candle right here. Here goes news candle. Then we have one more news at 7 o'clock right here, high impact. Looks like we got the buyers in control right now. So I'll know the direction of the breakout in about 2 minutes, guys. Buyers are currently in control. We'll see if the sellers swing price back down. But you guys can see right here that the buyers have started pushing price up from this area right here. And then price is attempting to shift back to the downside. If we get a sell signal right here, the breakout will start to set up for a sell. Ideally, it's kind of what we want to see here. Overall, looking at the trend over here, the 4 hour is currently neutral. 1 hour is bullish neutral. Pretty much all the higher time periods are neutral right now. 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, all neutral. The 10 minute is bearish, 5 minutes bearish, and the 1 minute is bearish as well. So the sell signal here has to close in order for us to get a sell entry for the breakout. All right, this is here so far. Morning, Lila. Hey, Tarek. Morning, Barack. Morning, Maria. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Christian. Oh, nice. Tarek, you and Chris met yesterday at the gym? Yeah, Chris is here right here on the live, actually. Hey, Wes, morning. Yeah, Tarek's inflation data came lower than expected. Maybe the Feds will pivot to QE next few months. Hey, Sally, morning. All right, guys. So the direction for the breakout today is going to be a buy. It looks like the sell signal never closed, so it's looking like it's going to possibly be a buy. We've got about, let's see, 15 seconds now until market open. Wes is asking if we're going to be using a 75 TP stop loss. Let's see how the market opens up. Right now, the ATR is currently at 47. So if it stays at this, which I highly doubt it will, we'll keep it at 50. But if it pushes up, we might move it up to 75. So looking at this right now, so the breakout for today was a buy, guys, right there. I think it already hit. So the breakout right there ran for a buy, like I said, and it already hit for 50 points. Steven, I don't know if you're here right now, but the breakout hit. Yeah, it looks like Steven probably slept in today or just didn't get on the live yet. The one day he misses a breakout, like goes straight to his TP. So breakout for today was a buy, guys. Breakout was a buy because we didn't have a sell signal that came up here prior. And this thing shot all the way up. So breakout for today pretty much blasted all the way up, like 100 points already, yeah. Unfortunately, Brock, it looks like it didn't play out in your favor. I was hoping for that sell signal to come up, but it didn't come up. So breakout for today here was a buy, shot all the way up. The ATR is currently at 60 ATR right now, so we're going to be waiting for, and I'll copy this over real quick. I'm going to send it to Steven over here. So breakout for today hit right there, of course. And we'll be looking for possible opportunities for entry here. So the ATR is currently around 60. So we'll see what happens here in a few. The ATR is well, the movement's a little high right now, so we'll kind of see where the ATR sits in a little bit. Right now it's at 60, so might be using something closer to like, you can see these candles over here. Yeah, these candles are way too big. We just gotta wait for these candles here to kind of stabilize a little bit until we start looking for what the average would be like. So liquidity right there got knocked out. Liquidity right there also got knocked out. So 2 levels of liquidity right there just got knocked out. I'm gonna mark up opening price over here. Hey, what's up, Craig? Morning, Sam. So So there goes the opening price right there. I don't understand Steven. Steven said, yes, he took it, but it was a loss. There's no way this could have lost, Steven. Bro, there's no way in hell this would have lost, bro. There was like no drawdown. I feel like Steven's taking the wrong entry. Oh my gosh. I don't know what Steven's doing, but yesterday it was full TP and today was full TP. There's like no way. It's just funny because I mean if you guys know Steven. Um like I don't know there's like I don't know how he could have lost this trade here. Because it didn't pull back at all. It literally was no drawdown. No, Steven's on the well, I don't know if Steven took it by himself or if he took it on the or he took it on the I think it's his broker, guys. I don't know. Like he lost the trade, but I don't know how he lost it. He lost it for some reason. Same with yesterday. I think it's his broker. His broker is just not good. Um, but it's okay. I'll have to talk to him later. I don't know what's going on with his like get today and yesterday were both wins, but he lost for some reason. Unless he got well, even if he got in late, he still should have won because he didn't retrace at all. Like it pushed up 50 and then yeah, he took a buy. Yeah, the entry for today was a buy. Sorry. It was buy for the breakout because we didn't have the sell signal until here. The buy signal pushed up and then the sell signal never came up at 628. So the entry here was a buy. And he took a buy as well. So I don't know. I gotta look at his pricing, but the pricing is like different for like specifically on the broker. He said he used a 1 hour chart, but I don't know. It doesn't make a difference. It looks like he entered late actually. All right, it's okay. Steven will figure it out. You know, Steven always figures things out eventually. But let's go back to the chart here. So the ATR is currently at 74. It looks like we're probably going to be using a 75 TP stop loss, guys. That's kind of what I was waiting for right now for the ATR here to kind of start to balance out. It's currently at 75 right now, so we'll be looking for any possible opportunities here for a buy. We have a pending buy signal on this current candle. Let's take a look at the overall confluences. So we currently have a rejection right here on the 1 minute time frame off the value low right here. So the buys are looking good on the 1 minute market profile. Looking over here on the 30 minute, same thing. We have a rejection right here off the value low. Looking over here at the 1 hour, we also have a rejection right here off the value low. We also got a rejection on the top end, so rejections on both sides here on the 1 hour time frame. So right there on the below and right there above. Looking over here at the volume profile, we don't have rejection off the bottom, but we do have a rejection off the top. Looking at the clean chart, we have a rejection off both sides, bottom and top. So I don't really like when this happens, but we still have a lot of rejections from the bottom end, so it's still looking pretty decent. And then looking at the SR chart over here, I'll try to mark up some structure. Some structure up there marked out. All right, that's good for right now. So looking at this right here, you got price rejecting off the upper side right now. So we got rejections on the top end right there. There's an MPS V2 that came up right here, like immediately on open. I mean, obviously I wouldn't have taken that trade there, but came up right here immediately on open. This is when the market was kind of moving kind of crazy right there for the breakout. The ATR is back up to 80 right now, so it's actually really, really high. 75 might not even work out for this one. Might have to adjust it even higher. So there's no entries here yet. I got topics to real quick. Okay, so it makes sense why Steven keeps losing. He's entering late. I just looked at his timestamps. He's entering like a minute and like super late. Market opens at 6:30. He's entering like at 6:31 or like 6:32. It makes sense now. It's not the broker, it's just Steven, which we kind of knew was the issue. It's all right. I'll figure it out. I was like so confused why he was losing the breakouts lately because they've literally been hitting yesterday and today, and basically balanced out. All right, guys, the ATR is really, really high. So either you're going to use a 100 TP stop loss or you're just going to wait a little bit. For me personally, I'm probably going to wait a little bit because it looks like the ATR is not very consistent, right? It's bouncing between like 70, 80, 90, and then they're going up to 100 now. We want to see some sort of average here where this starts to kind of move normally, right? Like where it just sets up a number, maybe like a 10-point range, and then it sits there where it's not continuously increasing. The problem with this here is that the big candles keep coming up, right? So looking at this green candle right here, this candle is extremely large. It's 209 points, right? The ATR is 90. If you're getting into a position and then your TP stop loss is like 90, you can easily get stopped out before it hits your profit target. So for me personally, I'm going to be waiting a little bit, but yeah, gonna have to be patient here, of course. Yeah, these candles are just unpredictable. So see this candle right here, this green one's a fine, it's okay. It's like about 115 points. But this red one right here is even more. It's like 120. And then you got this huge one right here. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for the market to not necessarily go sideways, but I'm looking for the market here to have a consistent, either consistent push up or a consistent push down, or even a consistent push to the side, right? I'm looking for the market to just move consistently. Right now, this is what we're having. We're having a push up or we're having a push down, like a consistent push down, and then a huge candle, and then a small push, and then up, and a huge candle. Like, see how we have these big candles that kind of pop out of nowhere? This is what's screwing up our opportunity. Because the thing is, like, you might get screwed when price shoots up the other direction, right? Because you don't know when these big candles are coming up. Like what we want to see is we want to see some consistency. We don't want to see a big push and then a small push and then a small push and then a big push. We want to see where it's consistently just coming down like that or consistently going up. like that, so that you can enter when price is going back up or when price is going back down, right? It's just a little too crazy right now. If you guys want to take these entries, I'll mark it up for you guys. But like I said, I think this is a big risk because you don't know when these big candles are going to shoot up. Like again, look at these current candles. Look at this last red one. This is an okay candle at 68 points, right? If you're using a 75, 75 or a 90 TP stop loss, perfect, that's fine. But look at this one right here. This candle next to it is 150 points. So at this point, it's like, what are you going to use? Are you going to use a small TP stop loss or are you going to use a big one? Because you don't really have an average here. The candles here are just so big, they pop up out of nowhere. So I'm going to wait again for the ATR here to kind of stabilize a little bit. Once it stabilizes, I'll be looking for opportunities. It wouldn't really matter too much because there's no opportunities here to take at the moment. What you're really looking for here first is you're looking for the buy signal. Once this buy signal closes, then we can move on to the next step. We can look for actual opportunities for entry. We also have a high impact news event right here at 7 o'clock, so that's something to look out for. Taking a look at the confluences again. So there's nothing here on the 1 minute. There's a bottom rejection here on the 30 minute. We have a rejection over here on the bottom on the 1 hour. We have a rejection on the bottom right here on the volume profile. We have a rejection right here on the clean chart. So the buys are actually looking really good right now. The buys are looking viable. So we'll see. I mean, we need the buy signal to close first. Once that buy signal closes, we can start looking for any opportunities here. But at the moment, buy signal still has not closed. All right, Tark said dollar is in free fall while 10-year is going up hard. Every time this happens, rates end up coming down. Would be nice to get a buy signal around this area and trade above the 39,750. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm looking for too. And I would like to see the buy signal come up because we can push up to the area of liquidity up there, right? That's gonna be like a target area right there. We got 20 seconds left on this candle. See if the buy signal actually closes. So if the buy signal closes, price will likely push up and then probably push up even higher because we have all this liquidity hanging out up here. So see what happens in a few right here. Buy signal still hasn't closed. Let's take a look at CNBC real quick. Any breaking news for the day? Let's see. BlackRock's Larry Fink says US is very close to a recession and may be in one now. I mean, we've been talking about recession since like Biden was president, right? So this isn't new news to us. People shouldn't be freaking out about that. I mean, it felt like we were in a recession 4 years ago. So let's see. Morgan's doing very well. So I'm just looking at the market overall right now. The market's not doing super horrible overall. CNBC. Yeah, it's currently at 37 points. So not anything crazy, but it is a little up because the quarterly data came out for all the big players, basically JP Morgan, BlackRock, all these big financial companies. All right, so the buy signal finally closed, guys. The only problem here is that the ATR is super duper high. So like what I said earlier is you might have to adjust our TP stop loss closer to the 100 area. Yeah, it's hard. So it's looking good right now. I mean, setup's right there. Price is currently at the liquidity. Retested the news price up there. You can see here how price sort of respects the news price right there. I have trouble getting past it. Yeah, as you said, we should probably start checking Trump's Twitter as news source to keep one screen. You're probably right because honestly, Twitter is way faster than a lot of other news sources, right? Because he'll tweet on there. So I'm actually gonna pull that up. Trump. You're not wrong. See Trump, what's going on? So I'll put this right here, right next to CNBC. No updates at the 7th, but take a look at that later. This one also has like pretty good news that comes out. There's a lot of news articles or news outlets out there where stuff comes out. This one's good. I mean, this talk is good too. I just don't know where the breaking news pops up from. I mean, I guess it's like right here. This would be the breaking news, flash news. US-China trade war intensifies as China tariffs go up. We know that. IVF mix-up leads to woman having baby with wrong embryo. Crazy. US inflation cools. Yeah, it's just the same stuff we just looked at right now. All right, so we have a possible setup over here for MPSV2. The only problem is the ATR is super high, so we might have to adjust TP stop loss to 100. I'm just gonna do that right now, just in case. Yeah, just in case, because I mean, obviously the 75 is gonna be a little too crazy to be trading off of. All right, so looking at this right here, there is yeah, this is a possible MPSV2. The problem here, again, guys, that we just talked about is that the ATR is not very consistent. If you guys want to take this position here, I mean, feel free. Let me see if I could look at the confluences. There's confluences on the 30, the 1 hour, nothing on the volume profile, nothing on the clean chart, and nothing on there's about 2 or 3 confluences here. I think I'm gonna sit out on this one, guys. I still don't feel comfortable with the ATR right now. It's like I think 100 points is kind of far out. It's just a little too far. Like if this was like a smaller TP, then maybe I'd be a little more confident with it. But I think the 100 TP stop loss is just it's a little too far out for me. You probably want to go for like maybe 75. I think 75 looks like a good sweet spot, but because the ATR is so high, I don't think 75 is going to be safe enough to take. So I'm not in this position. I'm just following it for you guys here. If you guys want to take it, feel free. But like like I said, this is a tricky area to be trading. And we also have news coming up right here in about 10 minutes. So that's like another red flag for me. So I'm not in this position. I'm gonna take this off because I don't want you guys to think I'm in it. This wasn't MPSV2 though. There's a lot of red flags here. So it was at news price. The ATR is kind of funky. And then also we have news coming up in about 10 minutes. So it's just not really a good area for me to want to take a trade. That's why I didn't take it. And there's only 2 confluences. There's a confluence on the 30-minute time frame and a confluence on the 1 hour. But there was nothing on the 1 minute. There was nothing on the volume profile. There was nothing on the clean chart. And there was nothing here on the support resistance. So there just wasn't enough confluences. Plus, I think the biggest thing was that it was at a red flag, which is a pink line. And then also the ATR is just so out, it's so out of place, right? So for me personally, I'd probably like to see the market here kind of stabilize a little bit with regard to volatility, where we have something that's more consistent and concise versus something that's kind of all over the place. Because initially we were at like 50-point ATR, then it went up to 60, then it went up to 70, then it went up to 80, then now 90, and currently at 100. So it's just all over the place. For me personally, I think 100 points is a pretty far reach. Especially when the candles will start to sort of die out. Like for example here, I think these candles are starting to die out a little bit. I think the entry is still probably going to keep running, but I'm not in that position, of course. We'll come back and take a look at it in a few. But we do got news coming up shortly. Hey, Isaac, yeah, I only trade YM. Been trading YM pretty much every morning for the past, I think, 8 years now. So it's been a pretty long time. Yeah, Tarek said would have been better if we got it earlier on the way up. Yeah, I agree, Tarek. I was hoping that it was going to come out down here because I wanted to write it up to the liquidity right here, right? That's what I was looking for. But it came out way too high, and there's like red flag right here, obviously, with the news price. So there's just a lot of things pointing, and this is probably going to hit, but let me see, the entry's still running. So it's probably going to hit, but like I said, 100 points is a long reach. So it's like you're really reaching for that point. You're reaching for the moon at that point, for the stars. It's I mean, it would have survived the trade, but I don't like holding on to positions for that long, especially if the volatility starts to kind of die down a little bit, right? So these candles, this one is about 119 points, but then these candles here are starting to die down a little bit. So this green one right before, it's still pretty high, 110. This current one's going to be like about 50, it looks like, maybe 60. Yeah, we got news coming up shortly, guys. So the news is coming up right here at 7 o'clock. It's going to be the Michigan consumer sentiment, I believe. Yeah, Michigan consumer sentiment forecasted to be negative. So it was 57 last month. And this month it's forecasted to be 54.5. Basically, inflation news. Inflation should be cooling, but I mean, you got to put that in consideration with the tariffs and everything else. So even though it's cooling, it's still going to be, it's still going to be a bit of an issue because of the other stuff that's going on. They all kind of counteract each other. It's like, yeah, inflation is great, it's coming down, but then you got all this other stuff going on that's that's not really going in the same direction as inflation. Because everything's going to go up anyways from the tariff. So it's like inflation is basically baked in already. Let's see. Daniel's asking, how do we gauge overextension when ATR is close to 100? Um, so the thing with the overextension is like before we used to be able to gauge it by just looking at how far price pushed up, right? Because before we basically measure from here and we're like, okay, it's pushed up 150 points. That's going to be overextended. Um, I think there's not going to be a specific number, but you can kind of tell when it's overextended. Like for example, here it's pushed up from this lower point about 572 points. So I think this is pretty overextended since it hasn't really pulled back or retraced. The numbers are just too high, right? I think that's going to be the gauge. I think the gauge would probably be initially when the market's slow, it's like 150, but with the market so high like this, I'll probably gauge it around like 500. I think if price is pushed in one direction at least like 500 points, it's going to be overextended because it's due for retracement, like a real retracement, right? Because we have these pullbacks. We have price that pulled back super hard, but then it goes right back up, pulls back and it goes up super hard. It's not at that point where we're having the actual retracement, right? Like I think this is where the retracement will start to set up. So we got price pushing up right here and it's starting to consolidate. It's either going to retrace down a little bit and then maybe come back up, or it's going to just continue pushing up from this current area. It's just a crazy market because like we don't really have averages like we used to. Like, the past 3 months we could easily gauge overextension, or we could easily gauge what the average ATR would be. It's like every day is it's a new puzzle. Like, but not, but in a crazier sense, because like before we'd be able to identify and kind of predict how much price was going to move. Now we don't really have that prediction because right now price is going back and forth. And I don't know when that 100-point candle is going to come blasting out of nowhere, right? Well, these candles are already probably 100 points. That's 80-point candle. This one next to it is about 80-point candle. So I'm already expecting that in a few moments or so, we're probably gonna get like a big 150-point candle that kind of comes out of nowhere, right? Either to the upside or either to the downside. Yeah, 150 points is like Yeah, boom, big push to the upside or big push to the downside. Yeah, RX, I agree, needs a huge retracement. So what I think is going to happen here is price is going to go sideways until the news event here at 7 o'clock. This is a high impact news event. It's Michigan consumer sentiment. It's basically going to confirm the inflation news. Inflation news has been negative for the past couple of days. Yeah, looking over at PPI. So I'm expecting the Michigan consumer sentiment to also be negative. It'll probably be around neutral or like, pretty negative. So PPI data right here, month over month, it was 0.1% last month. It was forecasted to be 0.2, small increase. It was actually a big drop, 0.4. So yeah, I think price here is just sitting sideways until we get to the news event right there at 7 o'clock. I think the MPSV2 is still technically running right now. Yeah, see, this is why I don't like taking a trade with such wide TP stop loss, because you're going to be stuck in that position for a while, especially if the ATR starts to drop. We're now dropping down below 90, so it's at 89. So in a sense, you might go back to 75 pretty soon. Barack said with these tariff issues, even the positive news won't count. Maybe a spike upwards, but close downwards. Yeah, I can see that too, Barack, 100%. There's just a lot of moving pieces right now, guys. It's the market's not as easy to kind of read as it used to be before. Like before, you can easily find, price kind of go sideways or price go down, then it goes sideways, then it goes back up, goes sideways, then it goes back down, etc. We can see that before, but like now we're getting some movements where it's like slow, boom, big spike up, and slow, big spike down. So you're getting stuff like this, which is super unpredictable because you could have a bunch of small movements here, and then you get a huge movement that comes out of nowhere, right? Like a big pop. It'll be coming down slow and then a big pop. And that's the stuff that you kind of want to avoid because you don't want to be stuck in you don't want to be stuck in those types of moves. All right, so we got a sell signal here which came up. News is going to come out in about a minute, guys. So right here we have news. I'm gonna mark up the news candle right there. Again, this is Michigan consumer sentiment. It's inflation news. Let's see what it came out like. Came out negative, so it did exactly what we expected. Like I said earlier, the PPI data and the CPI data was negative. I was expecting this to also be negative. It was forecasted to be 57. It came out it was 57 last month. Forecasted to be 54.5 positive, but it ended up at 50.8. So it's a lot worse than expected. 3.7 points. So with that said, price is likely to continue dropping from here. So there goes that retracement that you guys are waiting for. ATR is back up to like 93. So like I said earlier, unfortunately, we're not going to be dropping back down to 75. Looks like we might have to stay around the 100 mark. Yeah, it's a tricky market right now, guys. I would be careful if you guys take anything. Like we talked about before earlier this week, the price action and technical analysis, it's a little irrelevant in this type of market because whenever news gets released or something gets dropped, like let's see if there's an update here. So same thing that we just looked at right here. Like this was there's now a little update. So BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink says the U.S. is very close to a recession or maybe in one now, which makes sense. We kind of anticipated that we were in a recession already, and you can see the numbers here are starting to get lower and lower. So we already anticipated that we were in a recession, but now it's like more clear because of everything that's been happening. Also, another live update right here says stocks fall as Wall Street wraps up one of the wildest weeks ever. Yep, I agree. So it's interesting to a lot of you guys who are new to trading because this is all you know at this point. A lot of a lot of ways of trading, they just kind of go out the point, right? That's why I'm saying like you guys have to stick to one strategy and you guys have to understand how to adapt to the market. Right now, I can already assume that a lot of strategies are having turmoil, right? Because there's just no consistency in the movement. We have a possible MPSV2 that's starting to set up right here. It's currently 95 ATR. So if you're looking to take an entry here, again, it's probably going to have to be 100 ATR or 100 because the ATR is so high. Yeah. So look at these big candles right here, 135. Seeing this here, this is the MPSV2 that's starting to set up. It's pretty close to news, so I probably wouldn't really mess with I probably wouldn't mess with this trade here, guys, because it's too close to news right now. I mean, if you guys want to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys, but typically we don't like to trade 10 minutes before or after news. Right now it's still 3 minutes. The news event just came out right here at 7 o'clock, so the market is still reacting to it. Let's take a look at the confluences here. So we do have an upwards rejection right here on the 1 minute. We have an upwards rejection right here on the confluences are lining up. We have an upwards rejection right here on the 1 hour. No rejection here on the volume profile. Upwards rejection right here on the clean chart at this whole number, 39,800. And that's about it. So there's about 3 confluences here for a sell if anybody's looking to take it. The only problem here that I'm kind of pointing out is the fact that news just came out right here. So market reacted to news. You might get another reaction here for correction. All right, so that's why I'm not really looking to take this here. It's a little too early to news right now. I'm gonna go and take this off now. I'm sure you guys think that I'm in the position. I'll come back and take a look at it in a few. But this right here, I think it's too early to take because the news candle here dropped. So usually when there's a reaction to the news event, there's usually going to be a counter reaction, right? Price will initially come down when the news is released. It'll counter react back up, and then it'll either come back down or it'll keep pushing up from there for a full-on reversal. So I'm going to sit tight right now. 704, probably around 710. I'll start looking for some more entries. Yeah, if that happens, I can confirm my negative sentiments on Michigan. Yeah, the market's moving kind of crazy today, guys. So we were kind of hoping that the ATR would stay low. Market opened earlier, it was at about 40 to 50 ATR. We're back up to 100. So, I mean, this might be the new norm, right? Might be a new norm. Yeah, Christian said have a good weekend. This market, I don't see setups that are safe. Yeah. So Christian pretty much wrapped it up for the week. He doesn't feel comfortable trading this type of market, which I don't blame him. I mean, I don't feel comfortable either. So I'm gonna sit tight. If I see something good, obviously I'll take it. But right now, there's just nothing good here that I see at the moment. Let's see. Art said, "A mobile today can't trade." Sean, you think we can go 2 contracts and take every trade? Setups, that's not A plus. It's gonna be tough, Art, because like the consistency with the price movements, like you have to understand, like even if you're using 2 contracts, if you're going between like 75 point TP stop loss and 100, it's a big difference, right? So like for example, if you were to take, because your risk is not going to be equal if you're doing 2 contracts. Like if you're to do 75, 75, you'd be risking 75, 750. If you're to be risking 100, you'd be risking 1,000. So it's not going to make a really, really big difference, but I mean, this type of market right now, Ark, I don't know if you just got on or if you've been sitting on, it doesn't look like a really smooth market. So if you feel confident with the entry, then go ahead and take it. But for me personally, I'm probably going to wait a little bit for this here to stabilize and stop moving all crazy all over the place. I think closer to 730, I'll probably be a little more confident with like the market because it'll probably start to move a little more consistent. You can see over here, it looks like we might start to have some sort of consolidation. So yeah, if you feel confident about the position arc, then go ahead and take whatever position you decide to take. But again, right here, look at this huge candle. These big candles just keep popping up out of nowhere. You have these small candles, and then all of a sudden, this huge one comes and just shoots up like super heavy. It's a 138-point candle right there. Yeah, I'm gonna be conservative, obviously. I mean, this is how I typically trade, so it's not really making a big difference for me. But yeah, Ark, if you feel confident with the position and you think it looks good, then by all means take the position. Um, it's just gonna be you just gotta understand the risk. If you lose a trade, you can't be mad because you know the risks that are involved with this. Or if you have someone else trade your account, you can't be mad because like the this type of market is just very, very tricky. So I know I might be a little too cautious, but if you feel really confident, you think, oh, this is a really good entry, and you think it's going to play through, then go ahead and take it. And since you're just scalping it, then I mean, that it should be fine. You're actively watching it. I would just, my recommendation would be like, don't hold on to it for too long. Like if it starts to look bad, just pull out of it rather than, waiting for it to hit your stop loss. Because whenever you see big candles like this, see how price is coming all the way back down? It's respecting the range though, this upper range right here. Price came up, bounced down right there. This is another possible setup for an NPSB2 if this candle closes green. The only problem here is that it's in between a bunch of red flags. Well, one big one right here, one main one. We got the news price right there. And here we go, as price comes back down. So we got an NPSB2 that's setting up right here. We get a buy signal, price pushed up. It's retracing right here on these red candles. If you get a green signal to the upside or a green candle, not a signal. If you get a green candle that pushes back up, that's going to be a setup for an NPSB2. The only problem here is that it's at a news price right here. So if you guys are not familiar with the red flags, basically I don't take any trades that have to touch these dotted lines. So any dotted lines that go from left to right, this pink one right here, I don't trade around that area because this is where manipulation happens. So if you guys want to take this position, you can take it at your own risk. I'm going to mark it up for you guys right here. TP stop loss should probably be around 100 if this candle closes green. This thing it closed a little too tight right there. So I don't know if anybody would have taken that. I mean, the trade is running. If you guys wanted to take it, or if you guys are taking it, it's currently running right there. But it's not looking like a super, super good entry. Like it's not something I would take, of course, because of the red flag right here. If you guys haven't covered the red flags yet, basically any of these lines that go from left to right, this blue line right here that's dotted, this pink line right here that's dotted, and this pink line right here that's dotted, I typically don't trade around those areas because that's usually where a lot of manipulation tends to happen. So, I mean, all these entries are coming out around red flags. So they're just not areas where I would have taken in these trades. And you can see again right there, see how price is bouncing off the news price. There goes an example of why we don't trade around those red flags. Just got to be patient. I'm going to take this off. I don't want you guys to think that I'm in the position. Everything that's been coming up has been at red, like directly on red flags. So there hasn't been any actual entries that we would consider we're good or that we would actually take because everything's kind of been right here at these red flag points. And the ATR is still not very consistent. And right now it's currently at 96, but these candles here are not 96 points. Right, this is a 116-point candle. This one is a 143-point candle. This one right here is a 116-point candle. So none of these candles are actually moving how they're supposed to, right? Whenever the candles are bigger than the ATR, that means that that's an abnormal candle. So what we're trying to get here is we're trying to get candles that are moving at the size of ATR. And that's how we identify if the market's moving stable or not. Right now, obviously, it's not. see. Let's see, Steve, I just saw your message right now. Um, yeah, if you want to take a screenshot of your of your history, you can send it to me. Yeah, to see your timestamp because there's like no way that you could have lost the breakout for today. If you took it like right on time, if you took it right at 6:30, there's like no way that you could have lost that one. Because I mean, it literally didn't go into drawdown at all. So here's a breakout for today, guys. If anybody took it, I mean, Steven's been having like the worst luck lately. Yesterday, the breakout hit full TP and this one hit. I don't know if it's a broker issue or if he's entering at the wrong time. But yeah, if you want to send the history, Steven, I can take a look at it. But like, there's no way. It's just impossible for you to hit your stop loss on this one because this thing went straight up. Like if you went for 50 points, it would have went straight up. If you went for 100 points, it would have went straight up, and it went right through it. So, I mean, I'm assuming it's a broker issue on your end because you're using one of those, I guess what we call a bootleg broker. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the issue could be on your end. Thought it was a timestamp, but if you said that it's not the timestamp, then I don't know what else could it be. All right, so looking at this right now, guys, there's no other entries here available. Price is respecting the range that I drew up. So I drew up this range pretty much like down here when this started to come down. And price is starting to respect the range. The candles right now are currently at 96. Okay, so this candle right here is about 82 points. This candle right next to it is about 125 points. So we still don't have consistency with the candles here. I mean, if you want to take these entries, it's probably going to have to be closer to the 100 range because even though the ATR says 96, it's pushing way past 100. The candles here. If anything, I might have to adjust it to. This will give us a more realistic. That's the same thing. It didn't even make a difference. Leave it at 14 for default. Yeah, it doesn't even make a big difference. The thing is, the average can't catch up with the current candles because some candles are going to be super small and some candles are going to be super big. That's the problem with this here is that it pretty much will flip on you. Yeah, Barack said, I don't see any buys today, man, but there is that liquidity above. Not sure what that'll do with it considering there's no more news. Yeah, I agree with you too, Barack. There's a lot of liquidity sitting up top, so I was thinking, okay, the buys might be okay, but there's just no consistency, right? So like the thing is, we do have targets up there. So if price does push up any higher, there's going to be a lot of areas here for price to come and wipe out this liquidity. The only problem with this here is that the candle movement is not consistent, right? Because we have like we have the push to the upside. I mean, price is like in a big range right here. We do have the push to the upside, and then we do have the retracement. And then we got pushing it back up right here, but we don't have like, that consistency where we can kind of anticipate what the next candle is going to look like. Like, look at this here. This is like, you have like a big green candle, you have a medium-sized red candle, then you have a huge red candle that comes out of nowhere. And then you got a couple more green candles here. Like, this is pretty much like typically we always talk about a whipsaw, right? Where price whipsaws back and forth, which is not supposed to be a common thing. This is like a whipsaw that just keeps happening over and over again. If you guys are not familiar with whipsaws, it's basically where like price will push up really sharply and it'll whipsaw back down. And then price will push down sharply and it'll whipsaw right back up. Like this isn't a normal range, right? Because typically a normal range would be like this. I think this is okay. Like this area is fine, where it slowly climbs up, right? The whipsaws are what make things dangerous because you can be entering a buy here and it whipsaws down. You can be entering a sell here, whipsaws right back up, whipsaws back down, whipsaws back up. It's not something that's smooth like this right here. Yeah, CJ said, well, the high-low momentums are hitting. Haven't taken any because of the ATR, but glad to know the OGs are working in this market. Yeah. So if you guys are familiar with the sideways strategies, the high-low momentum scalp is like the one that CJ typically likes to apply. This is one that we applied a lot during the winter season and summer season. It's actually hitting pretty nice here. You can see how price pushes up. And then right here, you have a sell signal that breaks and closes past the two pivots right there. So this would be a high-low momentum scalp to the downside. I mean, they're hitting right there, but like CJ said, the ATR is just way too high. So does not feel comfortable taking them. We have a buy signal here, break past pivots 1 and 2. So the sideways strategies are working perfectly fine. I mean, even the reversal strategies, right? So we have the engulfing right here, engulfing E, price pushed up, engulfing red, pushed back down, engulfing red, pushed down, etc. So right now you can see that there's just different types of strategies here to kind of look at. I mean, the main strategy that I'm looking at the MPSV2, this is just not the type of market to be looking at it in, because for the MPSV2, we're looking for this type of pattern, right? But the thing is, the market's not moving that way. We're looking either for this type of pattern to the downside, or looking for, sorry, I'm gonna fix that. We're looking for this type of pattern to the downside, or we're looking for this type of pattern to the upside. But we're not really getting that right now, right? This market is not moving to the downside or to the upside. It's going back and forth and it's whipsawing. So we're actually getting this type of market, but it's not even this smooth. We're getting more so this type of market where it's kind of pushing up a little bit, big spike, push up a little bit, push down a little bit, big spike, push up a little bit. And it's those big spikes that kind of throw you off because it's just super, super tricky with regard to like look for any opportunities here. So the next target, like if price does come back down, is going to be the opening price right here. I mean, basically you can kind of see where price will likely target, which is going to be the opening price right there, if it makes it that far. If it does break past that area, it can probably break below and then come down lower from here. Also got, yeah, targets if you can break the high value. Actually, yeah, Tarek mentioned that earlier at 708. Yeah, I agree with your comments earlier, Tarek, with the push to the upside, but it just never happened, right? Price never broke above there. Looks like we're gonna have to wait until 7:30 basically. So at 7:30, price is probably gonna close around this area, and then we can look for those rejections off this market profile, off this value low down this point. Because if it closes below, we can look for a possible break and retest and continue lower, or if it closes above it. So either something like this, break and retest right there, or if it closes above it, we can look for a possible rejection and push back up to the point of control. Right now, it's really just about sitting back and looking for, your confluences. Because once you have the confluences and you can kind of anticipate where price is likely to go from, then you can start looking for some sort of trade with a bias. Right now, there's not really much of a bias because price is kind of going back and forth. Let me go check the other chat. So PC's asking, so all MPSV2 entries lost today. Let me see. So, I mean, it depends on what your TP stop loss would have been. I think this one over here would have won, depending on, because the average over here was a lot lower. So this one over here was, I think it was 50-50, or it could have been 75-75 either way. So this one over here would have won. This is the first one that came up this morning. This was at right after market open. So this one over here would have won. Buy signal retracement continuation right there. Entry would have happened at that point. That first one would have won. The second one over here, this was at news price, so obviously you wouldn't have taken this trade. Price pushed up, retracement. This green entry candle was right at the news price, so this wouldn't have been an entry to have been taken. There's a sell signal right here. Price came down, retracement. This one came down. This one, I think the ATR was at like 100. So this one here would have lost. I think so. Yeah, this one which would have lost. And this one over here was also at the news price. So this one buy signal retracement. The green candle. This one barely closed. So this is the one that we were following. This one barely closed green. It was like at a doji. And it was right at news price. So this one obviously wouldn't have been taken. So out of the ones that actually would have came up, they would have been one win and one loss. This one over here is at news price. This one over here would have lost. This one over here was at news price. And this one over here would have won for the entries there. There might be one that comes up right here, but so here's the thing. I'll look at price. It's starting to move directional again. So this is a good sign. The only problem with this here is that we're currently at I mean, at this point, price might be considered overextended if we measure from this upper end. Yeah. So earlier, Daniel was asking, like, how do we know when price is overextended? This again is another confirmation, right? It's about 550 points down from this high area. So again, if you guys are looking to take an entry here, let me measure these current candles. I think 100 could work in a situation like this. We have a sell signal, price push down, retracement. If you get a red candle after it, it could be a possible opportunity for a sell. Let me see if there's any confluences. If there's no confluences, obviously not one that I would recommend taking. There's no rejection there yet. It's close to it, but no rejection there on the 1 minute yet. Looking at the 30-minute, we do have some rejections over here off the point of control and the value high. Looking over here on the 1 hour, we do have rejection off the value high and the point of control. Not quite a rejection here on the volume profile. Looking here at the clean chart, there's a rejection, but it happened a while back right here. And then looking at the support resistance, it's currently below the zone. So we do have a rejection right there off the resistance. So if anybody's looking to take this here as an MPSV2, if this candle closes red, this is going to be an MPSV2 setup. There's a couple confluences here. I think the trickiest part about this is really going to be the ATR, of course. Because the ATR is 90. So if you want to go for 90, possibly, I mean, ideally, I'd probably go for 100, but that's something to look out for. So if you guys are looking to take this entry right here, I don't think it's a good entry because, again, look at this candle, how it's closing. It's the same thing that was happening over here, right? It's like a little doji. It's not even looking like it's going to close red, but if it does, it's probably going to close at the very last second. You don't like those very last second candles. See, Jonathan said the new strategy is going to be whenever there's a buyer or seller comes up, we take the opposite. I know, right? That's kind of what it's looking like now. So the red candle never closed right there, guys. There's no entry at this point. So this is a possible MPSV2 setting up. I think this candle is going to be too big though, guys. Yeah, this candle is going to be too big. So again, obviously, another red flag right there. There are confluences here for a sell. If anybody's looking to take it, that could be a decent setup. See, I'll take this here for a sell as well. Candle's closing in about 5 seconds, taking it for 100 points. Actually, I don't know. This candle here was a little big. I was hoping it wasn't going to be that big, but it's not horrible. So we got this right here. Let me kind of make my adjustments. So 406. Yeah, the candle was just a little too big. I was hoping it was going to close that big, but then it ended up pushing at the last second below. So let's see, I got my adjustment right there. My TP's got to adjust at 6 right here as well. So let's hope it doesn't retrace the whole candle. If it retraces the whole candle, I'll probably get stopped out. But if it retraces half of the candle, like right here, it'll probably come back down. The thing is, the candle is just a little too big on the close right there. So I'm hoping to see this come back down further. Let's see, the ATR is currently at 88. So I'm gonna mark a line over here at the 88 so I can kind of have an idea of, or the 90 actually. I'm gonna put a line right here at the 90. So I kind of picture if like, if I need to move my stop loss and profit, which I probably will, move it down right there. All right. So we got it running right there in profit. We had an engulfing here. So I'm hoping this candle closes engulfing. We'll have another confluence right there for it to drop further. Yeah, target's going for 90 right there, it looks like. So I got a line right there at the 90 mark. If anything, I might make an adjustment to my TP. I think the 100 might be a little too far out. So the 90 is going to be at. So what I'll do here is I'll probably trail my stop loss in profit. So as price drops lower, I'll probably continue to trail my stop loss in profit further. There's targets down here though, so like that's why I'm not going to move my TP too close. There's my TP's right here, and there's going to be a liquidity down there. So there's going to be opportunity for price to drop further from this point if it does come any further. So I'll keep watching it, and it'll probably be easier for me to just adjust my stop loss and profit when it comes down here. So I'm looking for it to break below the liquidity right here. And I'll probably move my stop loss and profit like somewhere down here. We got the liquidity down below that point. So this right here is an MPSV2 setup, guys. We have a sell signal, price retraced right here. This candle closed below it. That's where the entry happened. And yeah, I'm just gonna watch right here. The engulfing closed right there. See, this is why I don't like having such a wide TP stop loss, because let's see if the 50, oh fuck, I'm saying I'm gonna do that. Trying to move this over here. Trying to see where the 50 was at. Fuck. I'm trying not to edit this. Yeah, see, like if you did a 50-50, the TP would have hit right there. That's why I don't like going for the full 100, because the full 100 is a little far out. But we have to, because the ATR is, the ATR is so wide. Typically, I would try to go for like that 50, because I think the 50 would have been good. Let's see, Brock said he's trailing it at 200. So Brock is doing 150 to 300, but he's going to trail it at 200. Yeah, I hate holding on to these positions for more than a couple minutes, because then at this point it's like, damn, this thing it's turning into a day trade in a sense. The thing with this is that since I'm doing 100, I'm taking the lower risk, so I'm not really risking as much as I was before. So you can see my risk is like, it's only 4 contracts. It's not my usual 10, 15 contracts. So I kind of let it breathe a little bit. All right, so we got the back and forth right here. The ATR is currently at 90. Might stop me out. We got a buy signal right there. All right, let's see if it comes back down. Let me go back over here. So I was gonna wait till the 7:30 candle here closed. Let's see where it's at. Yeah, it stopped me out. It's all good. Take that loss. I took it with lower risk for 100 points. So the loss on that was a little less. Normally I lose a little over 2,000. For this one, I lost like 1,900 or 1,400 on the other accounts. So it's been a little bit of a hectic week for us this week. But it's all good. These stuff like this happens where we start to get into a little bit of a rut. If you guys have been trading for a while, that's just how it is. We've been on a win streak for like the past month, so luckily I have enough cushion to kind of withstand these losses. And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just have to come back next week and run it back. So unfortunately, this is one of those weeks. This is probably gonna be my first red week in a long time. I'll have to update my stats, but let's see. Yeah, where's my calendar at? Refresh this. Yeah, this is gonna be my first red week in a long time. So I'll drag this over here. So here's my loss earlier this week. So let me see. Let's go back to the previous month. This is for April, of course. Yeah, last red week was probably like 3 weeks ago, or yeah, about a month ago. Yeah, so this is obviously gonna be a red week. Every other week was pretty decent. Nice win streaks through March, all green for February, and all green for January. So it's all good. Let me eat this losing week and probably come back next week fresh. Hopefully next week's not gonna be as crazy. It's just the volatility is so unpredictable, like we were talking about. Usually we don't hold on to these positions for more than a couple of minutes, but then because our range is so, or our TP stop loss is so wide, we have to hold on to it for a long period of time. We've talked about this before, typically if the trade lasts more than like the first two candles, it's probably safer to just pull out. I was kind of thinking about that. I was tempted to pull out early when it got to this candle right here, but I just held on to it because I was hoping it'd come back down further. The setup here was good though. So I would consider this a good loss, right? Even though it was a loss, I still consider this a good loss because all of the criteria um, has been met, right? We had a sell signal right here, we had price retrace right here, and then we had a confirmation right here. So this here was a good setup for an MPSV2. The only problem here again is this, it just lost, of course. So it's all good. Meet that loss. And then I'm not going to take any more trades today. My trading plan is basically one loss and then I'm done for the day. So I never like really overtrade or I don't trade into tilt. But I'll keep looking for opportunities here for entry. So we got a buy signal here, price push up. There's actually an MPSV2 that came up right here, the opposite direction. Buy signal, red candle right here for retracement, confirmation above. The ATR is currently at 92. So this trade's currently running right now as an MPSV2 for a buy. The ATR was around 90. So let's leave it at 90 like that. And you guys can follow from here. But yeah, I'm gonna eat this loss and I'm not gonna hop into anything else for today. Man, it's been a rough week. I don't think I've had a week like this in a while where the market is just like not really moving how we want it to. Nice. So Tarek's actually in this buy right here. It's just a tricky market right now. So here's the thing with this entry target. I think the tricky part about this is this candle is really big. So if it does retrace back, kind of like what happened with ours over here, it's gonna be a little bit of a tricky because what happens when these candles are big like that is it'll typically retrace to the half mark and then come back up. Or in a situation like this, it'll retrace to the full candle and then, full on reversal. But we'll see. I'm hoping it hits for you though. Looks like it's going to. It's pushing up right there. Yeah, like you can see over here, these candles are not really Like this is the thing that really kind of screws up our positions. It's like we get these regular candles, and then all of a sudden you get these kind of pop up out of nowhere. Like this one over here was 160 points. Big candle. The ATR is at 90, so you have a candle that's 160 points. That's basically double the size of a normal candle. Yeah, Brock said I think to be able to hold on to these kinds of trades, they'd be more comfortable with lower leverage and we'd let it run to the end. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did with this. So like with these entries for this week, guys, I lost a decent amount, but I didn't lose like a crazy amount. Like if you look at my P&L for this week, I'm only down 4,500 on for the week. Or like on some accounts, I'm only down like 3,000. The reason for that's because like what Brock mentioned is that we just lower leverage. Like for me, I'm usually taking like a 10 to 15 contract size. For this one over here, I only take a 4 contract size. So on average, I'd probably lose like closer to like where I'd make about 1,000 or 2,000 to like 2,500. And for these trades here, I've only lost like here, I'll take a screenshot of this real quick to show you guys. I just want to be transparent with you guys, right? Like you're gonna have bad days and bad weeks and stuff like this. But if you're able to withstand the market, I mean you'll bounce back eventually. Like I'm already expecting, I just need another win and I'll probably bounce back. I'm win at like probably normal contract size. See, we haven't had a loss in a while. I'm trying to get that loss template I have here. There we go. 100 points. So like I'm gonna show you guys my P&L for the week. Thankfully I've been taking smaller contract sizes, so it's not really hurting my account as much as it would if I took like big contract sizes, right? Yeah, so here are my accounts. Unfortunately, it's a bloody account, but it's not horrible. So here are my losses for the day. This goes to show you that like you can't always win in the market, but these are my losses for the day. So I only lost about 1,900 to about 1,400 per account. So I'm able to like, and these are from 2 losses, right? So like 4,500. It's not a big loss because if you look at my wins for like the previous weeks, it's like the wins actually equate to like a lot more. So this is like, so if I'm using a full contract size, this is how much my wins would have been or my losses would have been, right? It would be over 2,000, like 2,400, 2,600, 2,000, etc. And then my weekly profit. But and this is only from like I think one trade, right? This is from one trade. For me, I basically half my contract size. So over here, instead of making like 2,005 or losing 2,500, I lost basically around 2,000 or like under that 2,000, 1,900, 1,400. So the thing with this is that it's just we're adapting to these bigger contract or these bigger ranges where we're going for 100 points versus before we're going for 30 points. Like it's a big difference. So you have to like for sure adjust your your contract size to something smaller. 'Cause typically I use like 10 contracts or 15 contracts, and right now I'm only using about 4. So I'm using about like less than half of what I'm normally using. Let's see. Wes is asking, guys, is a rule to take a trade at least once a week with, yes, that is correct, Wes. You have to take a trade at least once a week with Apex. That's why, like, for me, I can't really skip a whole week. I got to take a trade even though it's going to be a win or a loss, because if you don't, then I think they usually give you a warning. And then if they keep giving you warnings, then they close your account for inactivity. And your trade's still running. Sorry, this thing's been going forever, bro. This is, this is what I hate. Like this is what I hate when it happens. Because the thing is now the ATR is starting to drop down, right? It's currently at 78. Oh, Tarek, let's get your TP right there. Bumped up a little bit. So overall for this week, I mean, all the entries that came up are actually good. It's just the ones that I decided to take weren't good, unfortunately. Um, there we go, Tarek, almost there. Just a little bit more. Let's take a look at your confluences here. There's one confluence over here, rejection off the value low, nothing on the 30-minute reject. So on the 1 hour here is nice rejection on the bottom too, the value low at that point. It's almost there. Rejection off the volume profile. Rejection right there off the whole number, 39,650. And rejection off the support here, resistance term support. So you got some confluences here, push to the upside. It's just, I think the target's a little far out, 90, because the ATR has dropped down a bit. I mean, it's probably still going to hit though. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Barack said, I just a little more why we can do it. It's almost there. It's just, yeah, when you hold on to these positions for this long, this is where it starts to kind of throw you off because usually they hit right away. Like this one over here, hit on the first candle. This one over here, hit on the first candle. It's a lot of these inconsistencies. Let's see. It's your friend Samir Barak. Samir said, I have a lot of questions, guys. I just don't know who to ask. You know, the funny thing is you've never asked me, Samir. I run this group and you've never asked me once a question. And you're like, y'all operate like a pride in here. It's not easy to get breakthrough with anyone. I'm like, because you're messaging everybody except the main person you should be messaging, right? I've never got one message from you, Samir, but you always seem to be complaining in the group about something. So bro, if you need help, you can ask me directly, right? You know that's a thing. You go on the Discord, you send me a message, I respond to you, and I help you with your questions. But the thing is, you've been like in the group for a while. Well, I don't know. Brock said you used to message him, but like he had to block you because you kept like bugging him like during the live session time. And you just were distracting him all the time. So if you want to message me, you know, I'm free to be messaged. I just have never got a message from you this whole time. So if you want to message me, I'm putting that invite out there and I can possibly help you. Samir said, Barack blocked me because I asked a criteria guide. Well, here's the thing, Samir, like, it seems like you're looking for like a holy grail type thing, and then you're looking for something to blame whenever something doesn't happen, right? So the thing with trading is that there's no holy grail. You could apply whatever strategy you like for example, the strategy here I'm applying, it works sometimes, it doesn't work all the time, right? It hit this morning, or it hit this at this point, it lost right here. Samir said he got banned on Discord. Man, I wonder why. Um, you could hit me up on, I mean, yeah, I guess you could hit me up on Telegram if you want. But if you're gonna hit me up, ask me like real questions. Don't ask me like don't ask me the stuff you're asking Barack. Yeah, it's not gonna I'm probably not having good answers for you. All right, anyways, guys, the entry right here hits. Nice work, Tarek, on that hitting. Tarek's trade right there hit for full TP. Solid. So Tarek said 3 wins, 1 loss for this week. Yeah, so Tarek did pretty good. I mean, for the most part, I think everybody here did pretty good overall. I just didn't do so good because the trades that I decided to take just didn't really hit. I felt really comfortable about this position here because Barack took it, so I was like, okay, his confluences lined up with mine. I would have taken it, and then Tarek took it as well. But it's all good. You know, not all entries here are going to hit, and I'm thankfully most of them did hit. So if you took all the entries, or if you're on this live session with us pretty much all week, most of the MPSB2s hit. What I'm starting to think, Brock, is like I might have to lower my contract size and then maybe take more entries. Because I think looking for that one entry is not going to be enough for my trades here. So I think that might be the move, Brock. I think what I might have to do is just lower the contract size and then take more entries. Because the one entry is just not going to cut it for me because the market's not consistent, right? Like that one entry that I take could be the only bad one that comes up. Like yesterday, I think like 4 or 5 entries hit back to back. They all hit full TP. Um, like this one right here too. Like if I had two opportunities to take the entry, I could have lost this one and then I could have taken this one, and then I still would have been at break even for the day. So I think that might just have to be the move now because the thing is the market's not very consistent. It's not easy to just pick like nitpick one solid entry because they're all are kind of like solid but not super solid. And the ones that are actually not as solid are hitting a little more and a little better. So I think that's what I might do, Brock. I might just lower my contract size. Like for this trade over here, I took 4 contracts. I just might use half of that. I might use 2 contracts or something smaller. And then yeah, just kind of take it from there. Because the thing is, if I took like, if we took not, I don't want to say every trade, but if we took like majority of the trades here, we would have been in profit for the day because this one would have hit, this one would have lost, this one would have lost, and this one would have hit. So it would have been a break even day overall. Um, so that's probably going to be my next step, at least until the volatility starts to kind of slow down a little bit, and we can start picking like the good entries. Because there's other factors that are into play now. Before it used to just be these confluences, right? We like to look for these confluences here, like on the 1 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour. But now these confluences are actually kind of relevant. They're not really like they're not really the main thing to look at anymore. It's like really whatever's happening in the market that's causing price to really push back. Because right now price is going back into this range here. And then we'll kind of go from there. Sorry, Sam. My bad. Sam said, Sean, where did you read you must trade at least once a week, please? That's all I got from the Apex inactive FAQ. They when they did the last update, they sent that out. I'm not sure. Let's see. When you look up inactive, right? Unless they updated it again. Yeah, I don't know. They sent out an email like a long time ago. But the thing is, they change the rules so often that they might have changed it back. So it says this was updated a year ago. So they might have updated against Sam where you don't actually have to trade because that was a rule before. It used to have to trade every 7 days, or they would consider your account inactive, and then they would because I got a warning for that a long time ago. But I think they might have actually it might be Tradeify. Sorry guys, it might not be Apex. It might be Tradeify that has that rule. Okay, you're right. Yeah, I get the rules mixed up because they always have different rules for these different prop firms and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for checking that, Sam. I think Apex might be okay. Who was I talking to earlier? Let's see, Rev said I have accounts that have been inactive. They haven't touched it or made them inactive. Yeah, so maybe it's not it might not be Wes asked me yet. So Wes, I don't think it is Apex. It might be Tradeify. My bad. I get them mixed up because I'm using like 4 different prop firms. So I think with Apex they're okay, but I think with Tradeify you have to trade every 7 days. Like they're all kind of different requirements per prop firm. No, I know CJ, right? Exactly. Let's see, Barack said he's stuck on a 25K Tradeify straight to fund it. Don't want to trade micros, and it's somewhat suicidal to take long trades. Completely sucks. I know I'm screwed. Might have to just leave it and blow it or something. I've already picked a 100K growth account. Yeah, the smaller accounts are harder to trade because the the smaller accounts are harder to trade because you can't have this, and that usually causes, because the thing is right now I'm using 4 contracts, right? But I'm on a 300K account. So if you guys are on a really small account, it's gonna be harder for you guys to take these like you probably would have to just stick to like 1 or 2 trades. You won't be able to take a whole bunch because like Barack mentioned, if you hold on to it for too long, it's like let's just do the math here. 1 contract times 5 times, yeah, it's way too. So guys, like you guys that are on the smaller accounts, it's gonna be hard to take anything with a 100 point TP stop loss. So if you ever have to take a 100 point TP stop loss, you probably just don't even want to take it. 75. So 75. So I think if you guys are on a smaller account like Brock, if you want to take any entries, you have to stick to 75. I don't think you can go up to 100 because if you go up to 100, you could easily, just over leverage it because I think the max risk on what's your max risk on that, Brock? I think it's like 1,000, right? Yeah, it's 1,000. Yeah. So guys, thanks to Brock for like mentioning that. So Brock, he's on a 25K straight to funded account, which is like the smallest account with Tradeify, which is okay. It's okay to be on because it's easy to pass. But the problem with that account is that you have to like you can't take too much risk. I think if you use a 75 point TP stop loss, you're gonna be okay. But if you use anything more than that, you're gonna be really pushing the limits. Because if you take it with 100 points, like what we took over here, this is a 90 point TP stop loss. If you take it with something that's this big, it's gonna be good when it hits, but when it doesn't hit and it hits your stop loss, it's gonna put you in a deep hole because you're gonna be at 450 and then your max loss is 1,000. See, for me, my max loss is 7,500, so I can take bigger risks. But if you're on a smaller account, you kind of have to pay attention to the ATR. Or you can still take the entry. It's just here, let's see. I think this still would have worked even if it was 75, 75. Yeah. So you can still take these trades. It's just when the volatility is really, really high, like say, for example, this earlier entry over here, you want to skip those bigger moves. You want to go for the ones that kind of slow down or that are smaller. All right, there's an MPSV2 that's setting up right here for a sell, guys. We have a sell signal that came up, retracement. If a red candle comes up right here and it closes below this black line, this is going to be an entry for an MPSV2 if anybody is looking to take this. The ATR is currently at 70 right now, so you could probably use a 70-70 TP stop loss. For anybody who's looking to take that, let me take a look at the confluences. We have a rejection right here off the point of control. Have a rejection right here off the point of control as well. Rejection right here off the value high, point of control. No rejections here off the volume profile. Rejection right here off the whole number. The candle looks like it's not going to close red though, so probably not going to be an entry right there. Or I might close red right here, last second. Let's see. So the candle like barely closed red. It's but it's an entry right there. Or actually, no, it closed red pretty decent. So the trade is running right now for a sell, guys. This is an MPSV2 for a sell right there. We have the sell signal, retracement, confirmation right there. The candle closed below the momentum. It was a red candle. Barack's in the position right here. Let's see, Lila's profits right here. Nice work, Lila. So Lila locked in 1,085 for the day. So great work right there, Lila, on catching that. Nice work, Lila. Yeah, so solid profit right there. I'm glad you guys are profiting. Even though I took a loss for today, I'm glad you guys are profiting. It's just hard for me to really focus on just one trade. Now I gotta, like I said earlier, I just have to lower my contract size and then be able to take more trades because the one trade is just not really cutting it. when it comes down to it. Let's check the news right now. We're getting some kind of crazy movement right here to the upside. I don't really see any news here. This is the most news that came out right now. It says consumer sentiment tumbles in April as inflation fears spike. University of Michigan surveys. Yeah, getting a bit of a spike right there to the upside. Spike, but then it comes back down. I don't see anything else here really pushing price up like that or pushing price down. Yeah, it says consumer sentiment grew even worse than expected in April. That was from the news early at 7 o'clock, so that's a while back ago. Or this was just released about 10 minutes ago, actually. There's no other breaking news here, though. All right, so that trade's still running. So, like I said earlier, guys, the problem with the market right now is that there's just no consistency, right? We do have the consistency here where prices starting to kind of slow down a little bit, but you know, you kind of get those random spikes that kind of pop up out of nowhere. Looks like it's about to hit CP right there, 70 points. So if you guys take this, looks like it's almost down there. Almost to its target and full TP right there. Great work. So if you guys caught that right there, full TP on that trade, this one pretty much played out perfect. So like I said, guys, the strategy is working fine. It's just I'm picking the wrong one. Go figure, right? Like all of these hit here, but I'm picking the one that tends to not hit. So I think moving forward, I'm just gonna have to I'm gonna have to increase my loss appetite to 2 instead of just 1. So I'm just gonna have to half my contract size. So instead of doing 4 contracts, I'll probably do 2 contracts, and then I'll probably just take more than 1 entry. So nice work, Brock. If you caught, well, I know Brock caught that, but nice work to whoever else caught that trade right there. CJ said took the high low momentum at 751, wrote it down for 50 points, and then also caught that NPSV2. Nice work. Yeah, look at this crazy candle right here, guys. So this is what I was just telling you guys about, right? Like, this is what I mean about this market being super unpredictable. Like, I don't know what's causing this huge spike up. Any breaking news anywhere? Yeah, Trump actually doesn't go on Twitter. He goes on his other platform. Damn, that's a crazy candle right there. I think that's our cue to wrap it up for the day, guys. All right, so I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, you know, feel free to hit me up on Discord. 326 point spike right there. I don't know what caused the spike there. There's no breaking news from CNBC. See what the Fed said. Trying to check financial reviews if it loads up. Biz talk. I don't really see any breaking news here. Something caused that spike though. Yeah, so it says the Fed says the economy is bestest when very high levels is bested by very high levels of uncertainty. The economy is bested, yeah, whatever. So Fed Williams said the effective tariffs on prices could have an effect on wages. Yeah, of course. It can take quarters, years for tariff effects to make their way through the economy. So the Fed's speaking right now, and they're making these little updates. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. All right, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Unfortunately, I'm going to close this week in the red. It's okay. You know, this is my first red week in a long time. So I just got to eat these losses, come back next week fresh, and then make it right back. So unfortunately, I'm down for the week. But overall, I think we're all right. So we got some profits over here from Lila. Let me go and put this up over here. Nice work right there, Lila, locking in 1,085. And it looks like all right. So other than that, I think we're good, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I think this is a good time to wrap it up. We got the Fed speaking, and yeah, probably expect some more crazy movement as we move forward. So, all right, guys, have a great weekend. If you guys have anything to hit me up about, feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, I will come back next week fresh. Hopefully, next week is going to be a little more stable and consistent, and we don't have these crazy spikes happening all throughout the day. And we can possibly move forward from there. So, all right, guys.